Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be looking at another movie review. I've done 3 James Bond movie reviews really early. I went back to Dr. No, and maybe I'll watch the others later, but then I jumped way into the future. Basically the last Bond movie, as of when this was uploaded, the last Bond movie to ever come out, it's called Spectre. Now, if you're a big James Bond fan, that name will ring a bell. To me, it didn't, because I believe I watched this movie before I watched the other 3. Yes. And so what happened is now that I've seen the first 3, there's a retrospective. So I know a lot of you may be a huge fan of Bond. Some of you maybe have never seen Bond, and that's okay. But I would really recommend, I don't know, if you like the new stuff, start watching the Daniel Craig stuff. In my opinion, some of the best, especially Casino Royale. And let me tell you my thoughts on this movie. This movie's called Spectre, came out in 2015, starring Daniel Craig. And there are a lot of surprises in this film. It begins, of course, I think most James Bond films start out, you know, just giving you a snapshot of what's going to happen. Just something that embeds itself in your brain of like, okay, this is what this movie's going to be about. Ready for action? It's coming. And so that's what you get with this movie. You get very nice skull visuals. Dia de los Muertos. It's a Spanish Day of the Dead festivities, and Bond is hidden amongst all these people, and I believe it's Mexico. And let me tell you, there is a shot in the beginning where it's continuous. He comes out of the window and he comes on a ledge and he just keeps walking and it zooms out, and it's literally one of the most beautiful shots I think in the entire movie, and one that's very memorable that I think I won't forget in a long time. It's just beautifully done, beautifully executed, and I think they did a great job with just that. Like, it pulled me in, even though it was panning out, it pulled me into the movie really much so. I don't know about you, but the intro song was very much Goldfinger-esque. I guess they're all kind of very similar, but you kind of saw the Goldfinger colors, and I guess that's the one that resonated with me the most out of all of them. You should see my other reviews on Bond if you haven't. They should be in my movie playlist. But however, I love the intro. The Q briefing was a little short. I love Q, and so why did they make it so short? But Q plays a big role in this film, which I really love throughout the whole thing. He kind of snakes in and out, and I think that was good. I think that was a very interesting thing. They pulled him out of all of his specialty and made him work kind of on the go, and I think that was really good. Now, Monica Bellucci is one of the Bond girls. She's my favorite. She was in Passion of the Christ, and she was in Matrix, Matrix 2, I believe. Lots of other movies. She's my favorite. Too bad that she was only, what, like no more than first half of the movie, first quarter. And so I wish she would have been in the movie more, but she is older, and I don't know if that has anything to play with it, but she was great to see on screen. Now, the henchman. There's always a henchman, then there's a top villain. Batista, Dave Batista, he's a wrestler. I used to watch him when I used to watch wrestling, WWE, and he's pretty good. He's kind of that brutish, buff, muscular, huge, intimidating man that Bond has to deal with. I think he did a pretty good job for the most part. He was kind of brute force. His ending was really cool. I'll just say that. And it was really good to see him on screen. I do think that it's been a little bit overused, the idea of Bond being or going rogue. I think that's happened a few times recently. It's kind of a thing where I'm not gonna say they're running out of ideas, but maybe. And they obviously want to one-up the other movie and so forth, and so that's a thing that we see here that's kind of happening back and forth. But then we see others going rogue, quote unquote, and that's kind of similar to what happened in Skyfall. There was a plane to car shootout, which was really short, but I really liked it.
Why should I trust you?
I think they did a really good job, and I don't want to give too much away, but watch out for that scene if you watch that movie. Story-wise, there is the storyline connected all of the Daniel Craig Bond movies in full circle. Almost makes you think like it's the last. It doesn't end to make you think that it's the last, because it ends like most Bond movies that I've seen, or I think all have ended like. But the idea that everything is connected, and I kind of like that. That was pretty good. I think it was very smart. You do get to go to Spectre. You do get to see the evil headquarters. And I think they did a pretty good job. You get to see the villain was amazing. The villain, played by Christoph Waltz, was spectacular.
The author of all your pain.
To be honest, I saw him first on screen. I was like, oh, he's the villain? Like, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be... No, he is very, very, very good. I enjoyed him very much so. I'm not gonna go into his character too much. That's all I'll say. But I can tell you there is a torture scene, which is pretty fairly good. Again, it goes back to most of the classic Bond films where there's like a torture film and Goldfinger with the laser and so forth. I think they nailed it, making that connection. Although it did take some time to get to Spectre. I would have wanted to see more. I wanted to see more infiltration, more struggle. It felt like they just jammed it in kind of the last 3/4 of the movie and we're like, okay, I think people are going to enjoy this. We get to see for the first more than first half of the movie some other stuff, and I wish more would have been in Spectre, but it is what it is. And a crazy escape at the end. There's an amazing scene at the end as well. There's a great explosion that happens. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like they did a really good job at the end, just to kind of sum it all up, just to make things work. And I was very pleased with the direction that it went. You know, M is amazing. Judi Dench, a lot of people liked her, but Ralph Fiennes, or Ralph Fiennes, I believe he's called. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his last name correctly. Excuse me if I butcher his name, but I like him. He is great. I've seen his other movies. Like, his face is just so recognizable. I think he was in Schindler's List as well. But he was just awesome as M. Like, I wish he can stick around. I know he's getting older, but who cares, right? M is a little bit older anyway. And of course we have the ending, and it's just so great. All I'll say is car, and it was amazing, and it ends like a lot of the classic Bond films. So I was very pleased. I was very happy with the movie. Now it's time to grade it. Again, I'm comparing it to the other Craig films, not necessarily directly to the other Bond films. I'm kind of thinking about all the Craig films and where this kind of ranks. Casino Royale just kind of blows everything out of the water in my opinion still, but I think this film was super fantastic. I'm going to give it a B+. I think this film did a great job. There are a few problems that I had. Like I said, I would have wanted more Spectre. At times there's a little bit of pacing issues, a little bit of slowness, but then after that gets up, it kind of picks up again. It's like, okay, I see where this is going. I'll pardon that little thing over there, but I think they did a good job. The film kind of goes everywhere, you know, here, there, everywhere. That was a little kind of dizzying because it's like, goes from here to here to here to here. A lot of location movements. I think they're trying to one-up the last movie and the last movie, and it's like a domino effect. But I think overall it was pretty good. It's a film that I would recommend. If you're a Bond fan and you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. If you, for some reason, maybe you're not into Bond, I would really recommend Casino Royale. But if not, I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching Spectre. Yeah, you might get a little more enjoyment if you watch like the other Craig ones. Because I think it's like a saga. It's like watching The Dark Knight. I would say, yeah, watch the Craig ones first. All of them up to Spectre. Watch them in order, and that would be a pleasant way of doing it. If not, watching it by itself won't kill you. I think you'll still enjoy the movie. It can stand on its own for the most part. We'll see you next time, guys and gals. Don't forget to stay positive as always. Thank you so much for subscribing, for supporting my channel. It really does mean a lot to me. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers. We're getting close. We're getting close as of when this video was uploaded. We'll see you next time, guys and gals, and don't forget, be hopeful.